And we are live, good to go,
Yes,
ready.
sir.
Yes, yes, yes. All right, how have you been? It's been a couple
I've
weeks
been,
now.
yeah, been good, man. How you been doing?
Good, good. Just
Yeah.
hey, to dive right into positive yards. Had a trip out to Florida. It's nice and warm.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We
See your mom, right? See
yeah,
your
see,
mom.
Mom, managed to time it perfectly because this past weekend in Kansas City got into below freezing temperatures, so it was well done. We dodged the bad weather and stayed in some good and uh, everything enjoyable like that. So it was a good time. A lot of relaxing, a lot of reading. All the stuff I wanted out of the trip, we pretty much got. Yeah. So.
Nice.
Although I will say, we went to go to the Tampa Aquarium, which it's like called the Florida Aquarium. It's supposed to be like their flagship aquarium or whatever. It was okay. I mean, like it was
Yeah.
just we got in there and it was like, all right, like what's the hype, you know? It was a little disappointing. Like they had a penguin exhibit that, they advertised throughout, and then we get to it and it's like a window and to like a small
Uh,
cave and you don't even see most of the penguins or like I yeah, it's I've definitely been to significantly better aquariums. Like I think we could go to SeaWorld and have a, just a better experience.
yeah.
But it's enjoyable. Like it was, we uh, got to spend some time there, and then just around the corner actually from where we were at, it's like a wharf that we were able to hang at, get some food, and that's like right by where the Tampa Bay Bolts play. And so of
Oh, okay.
course, yeah, they're in the middle of a little playoff run, so it's cool seeing all of the stuff going on there. I don't know if they're still in it or not, but at the time they were playing the
Yeah.
Maple Leaves, and we happened to sit down next to this group of Canadians who had come from Toronto to see them play in Tampa. So it was fun little
Dope.
experience. Yeah,
Dope. Yeah, that sounds like a good little trip. Yeah, and
yeah,
I know that feeling like where you hear like something like hyped up, like some kind of exhibit or something, or even a restaurant, and then it's like you get it and it's like, huh, that's like the worst. Um, But yeah, I've been there. But yeah, no, Tampa's great. I've been out there a few times, mostly through work. But yeah, it's a nice little spot. If you can stow away your Buccaneers hate, you
yeah.
can have a good time out there.
Well, and the funny thing is, like, oh gosh, I don't. It may have been like the first or second day. My mom was wearing a Chiefs shirt, and just everyone, just kept saying it was like, "Go Chiefs!" A lot of "Go Chiefs." Or we ran into a bunch of people from Kansas City or who used to live in Kansas City and just wanted to talk about that. It's crazy. Didn't get any hate at all, which I almost would have
Oh, good.
expected, but yeah, it's a good time. So definitely enjoyed it. And I will say, all right. So the one thing that was really kind of concerning me about the trip itself was the new airport. It exceeded my
Oh yeah,
expectations. It exceeded my expectations. It was,
good
I
deal.
mean, I've actually had times where I was in TSA lines longer at the old airport than I was us going through this time. And we flew through and it was nice having like food options, that weren't just like probably past due expired chips and whatnot. Um, of course, like 90% of the restaurants or food options they have in the terminal are all barbecue based. I'm like, all right, well, this is cool, I
I don't
guess.
see a problem with that, Billy. I don't see a problem with that whatsoever.
It's it's like and I live in Kansas City. I don't need the the barbecue at the airport, but no, it was I mean it was fun. Yeah, um, it was good times. And then I mean they have done absolutely nothing to fix the issues with getting your bags that you check. That took the longest out of anything. I think we were standing at the carousel for like 20, 30 minutes before they finally came over the speakers and said, "Oh wait, it's not this one. It's at the other end." Just like good old MCI. So not too much has
Oh,
changed in that
fantastic.
in that respect. I think that it's so like what like when you would land at the old MCI and like whoever was picking you up could pretty much park right in front of the terminal and just sit there and wait for you to come out and go.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, the people haven't changed their mentality about that. So unfortunately, people were still parking frequently, but of course, because it's just one terminal now, traffic would be backed up like no other. Getting through that process is annoying. So I wouldn't mind seeing some people out there, getting ticketed for just parking in front of the terminal and whatnot. Teach people how to actually move through these things. But that, that's, I mean, chief complaint. It's not too bad. How about you guys? Positive yardage? Yeah, Hung, welcome to, the middle of mine there, talking about my trip to Florida.
I love it. No, that's great. Raw, have you gone yet? Have you shared
Have-
your positive yardage? Did I miss
oh,
yours?
no, not really, but I
Oh,
guess
when
I
do
could
you go?
say,
So I can that way warm up.
Yeah, yeah, you got some, yeah.
yeah, okay. Positive yards. Like I said, I've just been enjoying watching some NBA. I've been in my NBA mode. So the Lakers, we have gotten past the first round somehow, and so we're on to the semifinals. What else happened this week? Saw some friends, good stuff. Like some friends I hadn't seen in a while. Check out the new place and things like that. Um, and I got a new headset.
New
You know
headset.
me, I'm always
Ooh.
experimenting with my equipment here. So yeah, got
Yeah.
another headset, and so far,
What did we land on for this new headset choice?
so let me see. I don't have the brand up in front of me. It's called like the COO something. I don't know. And they're not paying us, so I'm not even gonna like
Oh, okay,
put
no, that's fair enough. And are
it.
these
So
headset? Is this a headset for recording podcasts? You gonna wear these at the gym? Like, what are
no,
we
no.
talking?
So it's definitely for podcasting and
Okay.
my work outside of this. Like, so that's what I got it for. But yeah, definitely. It, I bought it for work, but I'm like, oh yeah, this would be definitely useful for this as well. So yeah, I got this, and then of course the microphone. Yeah, we're good to go. We're becoming a full-fledged podcast little by little.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah, but
Love it.
yeah. What about you, huh?
What about me? Okay, so I would say my positive yard. It has to do more with my eldest child, my oldest son here. But y'all, he's played his best basketball that he had played in a long, long time. The intensity at which he played at and stuff. So like I'm the only human parent on this podcast, but I feel like, as a parent, you talk to your kids until like you're blue in the face about all these things and like all of a sudden it clicks and
Uh-huh.
they'll never give you any sort of credit for it. But like I can sit back and be like,
That was me. Yeah, when he gets drafted to the NBA, and making multi-million dollars, you'll feel confident. That'll be your positive yards then, when we're still doing the podcast.
but see, there we go. And so my positive yards is just being able to watch him have success, what he thinks is success, because we know as adults that success means so many different things that it doesn't always equate to like winning. So I feel like that was a big positive yards to watch him play at a certain level this weekend.
You threw me off when you said I'm the only human parent here. Like, I had forgotten about the dog. I was like, what is she talking
Right?
about?
It's like, wait a second, what am I
Like, where is
missing?
she going with this
Like
one?
I know AI is taking over, but like
Oh man. All
So
right.
funny. So yeah, there we go. That's what I got.
absolutely. Well, cool. Let's get into the draft. I know we're kind of short on time this week, but yeah, let's go ahead and dive in.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Um,
All right.
so
So I figured first we'd talk about just the draft in general, and then we can dive more specifically into the Chiefs. It tends to be how we follow, format wise.
yeah,
Or we
yeah.
could do it the other way around if we want to go Chiefs first and then talk about the draft as a whole.
Well, I'd like to start with just the draft being in Kansas City, like
Yeah.
just that whole event. Like, so how was that? I mean, you were out of town, right? So you didn't even get
Well,
to.
so I no, I came back on Tuesday. So we were
Okay.
here, yeah, in time for it. I drove through downtown a couple of times. If you're in Kansas City and you're going down I-35 and it's passing through, the downtown area. You can look over and see the memorial, see Union Station if you time it just right, looking down that way. And it looked pretty cool. The setup looked pretty awesome. You could see crowds of people walking around. It's pretty significantly like that. I've seen the pictures from it too, and knowing where everybody's at, it looked great. It looked awesome. We didn't drive by it at night at all, so I don't know how well lit up and whatnot it looked like. I know part of us, talking about the new airport, we were a little bit concerned about coming in on Tuesday because we figured a lot of players and a lot of, just the
Mm-hmm.
peripheries when it came to the draft would be there, but it didn't have any incidents like that. Didn't see anybody who looked remotely like a football player, let alone
Dang it.
any. There were definitely a lot of fans around. I saw jerseys from probably just about every team, in some respect there, which is cool, being able to see all of that throughout the city. But yeah, otherwise, I'd say, I don't go downtown much, so I didn't run into many issues. But there was plenty of news, I guess, if you'd say, coming out saying, hey, these are the areas to avoid because it's going to be, no driving or you're not going to be able to get through it pretty easily, anything like that. Overall, though, I'd say is definitely a success. And I know more than a few of the big name barbecue places too have, lines wrapped around the building like they
That's
usually do.
amazing.
But yeah, just, places wrapped around with uh, people looking for some barbecue. And I've already gone through and just looked at some news articles too from other states, other cities. The people who were like, all right, we were there for the draft. Here's what we thought about the barbecue kind of thing, and that's always fun for me. I like seeing that kind of stuff. Is yeah, from a
Man,
bystander, it was pretty cool. I know it didn't cost anything to go. You just had to have like an app for like general admission. Um, it was pretty easy getting to it wise. The streetcar goes right there by Memorial,
Mm-hmm.
or the Memorial, so you could get in there pretty easily if you had anywhere to park and could just hop on the streetcar and get into town. I mean, yeah, is pretty neat experience looking at it. And then of course, I watched the first day. I watched on Thursday. I didn't watch any day after that, and seeing the people kind of
same,
crowded in
same.
that area, thinking it's like, yeah, uh, go there pretty frequently. I love that area of downtown. Union Station's great, and the memorial's really awesome. So it's pretty cool seeing all these people from out of town experiencing it too.
Yeah, it looked like an absolute blast. Like just from what I've seen from obviously like the actual what they would show on TV, but I had a few
Yeah.
friends, like originally from Kansas City. I had a lot of friends who actually got a chance to go out there and it looked like a great time, man. Like it looked like a second Super Bowl parade. It really did.
Yes.
Like they put on a show. And of course this is our time, man. We're living in a spotlight. Why not?
Well,
Like why
and
not do it big?
this is the first time in history, I
History.
think, yeah, where
Yeah.
the Super Bowl winning team hosted the draft too by chance.
Yeah,
So it's pretty
absolutely.
cool. We definitely
Yeah, it's never happened.
definitely rubbed it in people's faces. We made sure they all knew who
And they
won
were
the
mad
Super
about it
Bowl.
too. And there were people who were
Uh,
legit mad about it too. Like people were mad, like a bunch of media pundits. A lot of them, some for some coincidental reason from Boston,
huh,
being really upset. Like I
strange.
wonder, yeah, it's an interesting correlation. But it's like, okay, win the Super Bowl the same year your city's
Right.
having
And
a
then you
draft.
can do
Then come
whatever you want too. Shoot.
exactly. So yeah, great time. They put on a show. It looked like people. Hopefully, if you're out of town, or I didn't, speak with anybody or anything, but if you were from out of town, hopefully you had a great time and got to really experience Kansas City. I'm so thankful that what this team is doing is in a lot of ways helping putting the city on the map.
Hmm.
Like,
Sure.
so
Absolutely. Yeah. And I know a lot of people too talked about this being a dry run for how things would operate when the World Cup comes into town too. And
oh yeah,
this being a huge event, and the first huge event that the city's hosted since we got the new airport and all this stuff. I'd be really curious to hear about how transportation was, because that's always been the issue with Kansas City is the airport's on one side
Yeah.
of everywhere, and there's no easy way to get downtown. So I'm curious to hear about that. I'm sure we'll see some articles or whatever come out soon. But yeah, it was a sweet event to watch.
Absolutely.
I loved watching it from afar. I wish I could have been there for sure. So that part was saddening to me. But feedback has been really fantastic from all the friends who got to go, got to experience it. Um, just overall, really, really, really well done. And I just, Kansas City is such a great place to welcome fans from any team. I feel like we're
Hmm.
like such a hospitable sports town. So I
Absolutely.
feel
Absolutely.
like seemed really well received because it's an event that tons of different NFL fans attend, as you guys have already said, with seeing jerseys from all different teams at the
Well,
airport and around the city. So
yeah, it's the only event where every single team's involved.
yeah,
Yeah,
So it's yeah, it's great seeing all of that come together.
absolutely. Yeah, it's so outside of I guess that, as far as the actual draft itself, do we want to start with like the Chiefs? Do we want to start with just kind of a general
I think we start in
uh
general and then narrow it down to the Chiefs
okay,
personally.
okay.
Maybe it's just because I don't watch college that much. I don't know too much about everything going on with all the orgs. I think it's easier to encompass all the teams in a real quick, easy overlook.
Sure.
And then, yeah, talking about, did the Chiefs have a successful one or not? What's one thing that surprised you all the most watching the draft or hearing news wise? Was there anything that stuck out?
So I guess the quote unquote surprise for me would be obviously Will Levis dropping out of the first round. I mean, he was really hyped up
yeah,
going in, and
The
yeah,
progression of
it just,
emotions he was going through on live TV
yo,
too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
his or
really
his girlfriends. I'm sorry,
both,
Right.
both, yeah,
both.
both,
Okay, all right.
that,
both of them.
that entire group was just
Yeah,
yeah. Oh man. I mean it's oh boo hoo, this is a guy who's going to have multi-million dollar contracts for the next few years of his life. He'll be just fine. That's why I can take a little bit of a laugh at it, I feel. Yeah, you're right. Seeing him drop
yeah.
out of the first round.
I kind of, yeah, exactly. As far as like people are like, oh, because I was talking to family, like, man, that's just so sad for their family and stuff. I'm like, guys, he's still getting drafted. Like, he's going to go somewhere.
Right.
He's going to make money. He's going, and even if it's not a first round contract, that's still a lot of money.
Well,
And then, okay, now you got a chip on your shoulder. Prove him wrong. Prove
and
him wrong. Okay,
Exactly.
he was here in person, right? So do we
yeah,
know?
first round.
Do you all know who pays for it? Does the NFL pay for that, or do they have to?
I think the NFL probably pays for it.
So he got a free trip to Kansas City with his family
I don't know.
to
I'm just
sit
saying. I
there.
get.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
or I'm sure an agent is probably paying for it. The guy
sure.
who's also making millions
They're
of dollars
fronting the
doing
cost.
nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
sure. Yeah, the players themselves probably aren't. So, I mean, you got a trip to Kansas City. Hopefully you got some barbecue.
Yeah,
All that good stuff.
right.
Feel bad for him. I think it's just at once it got to the point where it's just like okay, he's clearly not getting drafted. It just almost became comedy to me,
Yeah.
just seeing it go downhill more and more for him. But he ended up at the Titans, isn't that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
It's if and obviously I've never been drafted, right? But if I would say like if it would be disappointing. Yeah, you're there, your family's all there, you're thinking this is the night y'all about to go. Doesn't happen.
hmm
But he gets drafted the next day. He's at home with his family. It's still gotta be feeling pretty good, man.
Yeah.
And you're going to a good organization. Now they've been doing a lot of shipping people off, so we'll see what they look like this coming season. But
right.
they've been in the conversation the last couple of years. So
hmm
Nashville's a great town. I mean, yeah, he'll be all right. Okay. But I have a question for both of y'all.
Yes.
Okay.
How much do y'all think his social media affected his draft stock falling?
Man, I mean,
Wait, but for which aspect are you talking about? Are we talking like bananas? Are we talking mayonnaise and coffee? Like what
All of it,
exactly are we
all of it,
talking? Okay.
all of it. Like
Just
the
wanted to clarify, make sure we're all on the same page.
serial killer tendencies over here, putting mayonnaise in your coffee and eating
Oh,
bananas with the
with
peel.
the peel on.
Yes,
Oh
there had
man.
to be. I mean, this is a little bit more extreme than putting ketchup on steak. That's all I'm gonna say.
right? Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know. I wonder, like, because you think that because it's like such a huge part of this day and age, social media. So
Yeah,
I have no idea how much it actually played into it versus, or is there something else really that caused him to drop? Did they find something? Did they see something? or did they feel like, ooh, this is a huge risk that we're taking because maybe he would be more of that social media liability.
Well, also, one thing they were saying, at least on the radio, a lot. What, 26 interceptions?
Well, and I think
Yeah.
that's it for me is it's his game tape, you know. Because I think what he really kind of exploded into the first round because of his physicality during the combine, right? Like he came into the combine and was just an absolute monster with that, and people were hyping him up then. And then they probably went back and watched his game tape, and they're like, oh, okay, you
This
know.
Yeah.
guy.
I like it's just, I think that's really now yeah, mayo and coffee. I mean, come on, dude. Let's
Ooh.
let's
You
let's,
guys, I could barely stomach watching that
what
clip.
I can handle that significantly better than someone who eats a peel. On the banana peel,
On
right?
a banana that
Uh,
looked like it should have been for banana bread, by the way. So, there's that too.
yeah.
Ooh,
So
a weird kid.
I think for me, I think what happened to him encompasses the issue I have with the draft overall and like how
Okay.
hyped up it gets is because we have no idea how he's going to end up performing. I think if I was to be drafted as an NFL player, I'd rather be in his position than in Bryce Young's position. Because now
Yeah.
Ooh,
Bryce Young
Yeah.
has to
and
come
going
out.
one.
Yeah, he has
Yeah.
to come out and he has to turn the Panthers organization around. If
I've
he
said this for years.
if he doesn't, then I mean, people are going to talk about Bryce Young as a failure forever. If Will Levis goes out there and has a failure of a career, it like doesn't do very well, what we would call a quote
Uncredited
unquote failure.
amazing coffee.
Yeah, but like he went in the second round. He went to the Titans. If he has a bad go, people are probably more likely to talk about the organization failing him, or talking about the fact it's like, well, he was a second rounder, so the expectations weren't there, or whatever. It's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, now he has a much better potential to be that he has the ceiling, seems a little bit more comfortable for him compared to somebody
Yeah.
like Bryce Young, who day one, he's expected to be the starter. He's going to have to go out there. He's going to have to win games. He's going to
Yeah.
have to get them to the playoffs because he's in the NFC South, which is probably the most embarrassing division right now, assuming Tom Brady doesn't come back. It's just, which I know I'm super excited for. Um,
Yeah.
so I'd rather be in his position, but man, what a
I've
what a case, right?
Yeah, I've said this on several occasions. Like I enjoy the draft. I mean, I think it's a cool event and everything. It's great for those families, great for the fans,
Yeah.
and like we said, it's especially cool now that they've been moving into different cities. So it's been cool to kind of
Hmm.
showcase different cities and things like that. But as far as like the actual predictability of first round draftees' success in the league, man, okay. Josh Rosen, you know what I'm saying? Like Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston, like you can name off several quarterbacks who've been drafted in the first round, and maybe they've had careers in the league, but it's like, are they like have they lived up to that hype that of being drafted in the first round? It's there's not really. I mean, yeah, there obviously there's like Patrick Mahomes or certain guys like that, but there's also Mitchell Trubisky.
Right.
There's not like a what
Yeah.
I'm saying, like it's not like an exact science, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So it's
Right.
like
Yeah.
to me, it obviously, yeah, the biggest part of the draft, first round draft pick is the contract. But other than
Hmm.
that, man, I think it's better to go to a team that already is either having some success already, like which is usually the lower draft picks, where you can kind of learn from a winning organization than having all the pressure put on you going to a trash team, unless you're just that good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
unless you are able to turn the Browns around, which how many quarterbacks have they drafted in the first round?
and I mean to
Yeesh.
to add to that, like the Panthers sold their future to get this guy, right? Like they
Yeah.
got rid of
Right.
DJ Moore and a bunch of draft picks in order to get Bryce Young. Like that, this isn't a case of even just like a bad team who happened to have the worst record and got the first pick that is now drafting him and the pressure's on. No, this is a bad team who had to trade up in order to get the
Mhm.
first pick. Who now, it's just like, oh man, this is going to be, it's going to be a storyline for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, other than that, as far as like surprises or noticeable parts of the draft,
I think
I
the
think
two other big ones that we have to talk about, and sorry to cut you off, the Texans trading up to
Yeah.
have back-to-back second and third. But the one that we
Uh-huh.
haven't talked about, which I honestly just remembered, someone just got traded to the New York Jets.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
do we
Oh
have to talk
yeah.
about that? I don't actually care. I really don't. Fuck them. I'm sorry.
Oh man! All right, we'll talk about the Texans first. Do you think it was smart of them to give away what they did in order to get to the third pick? Like, did they
And,
really need to wholesale to that?
there's some doubts. There's a lot of people are calling it a head scratching move, but
Right.
I do like that they are making moves. They're trying to overhaul that franchise a little bit, so it'll be interesting what they see. And I want to see what D'Amico Ryan does. Um, he seems to like if you saw his reaction from the war room and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to feel like they've gotten their guys. They're in a division that's not very strong. If they can make a statement, um, with what they've gotten this first year, they could build on that, and the Texans could finally not be maybe a laughing stock. Even though I'm not a big fan of their front office, the way they do things, I would like to see this coach and these players have a little success.
That's true. And if they can find it with this crazy with their crazy moves that they just did, that'd be great. But I think it all comes back to what you guys have already brought up. Is like if they do fantastic, then that's a great move. If not, they're clowns.
Yeah, true, true. I mean, everybody seems to be clowning the Lions right now. No one's really giving the Houston Texans the Lions treatment yet. So,
Oh man, and I'm kind
uh,
of surprised by that because like I know the Lions made some like people are scratching their heads moves for sure, but they've also shown um the past year definitely and even trickling in a little bit before that that they seem to have a plan and they're executing on that plan and they were
true.
shockingly good this past year. Campbell's out there cooking right now. He's getting ready to go. I mean, them trading away Swift was kind of
Yeah,
curious.
that was crazy.
I'm
Yeah.
still surprised about trading away Jamal Williams. I felt like that was their guy.
Well, and then of course they lose what, three players to this gambling ban too. So
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I mean, who's left on that team now, right?
yeah.
I feel like they
Yeah,
just wanted a really clean slate.
right.
And but the NFC North is wide open though.
NFC North is now wide open because we
Yeah.
all know, the Vikings aren't going to do anything as long as
Right. No, hell
primetime
no.
Kirk is out there, and then
Hell no.
what? And then Bears. I mean, yeah, all right, cool. When they haven't been relevant since Urlacher left, and then yeah, I guess what is it? Love that's now the
No, but with the
starting.
Bears, hold on.
Okay,
With the
okay.
Bears though, didn't Ryan Foles go there, right? To BGM now, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
from the
I
Chiefs, right?
like he had a pretty good draft.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt like from like a former Chiefs fan, we can kind of cheer on those moves of theirs, but I felt like he had a pretty good first GM stint for himself up there.
I, I I think the big question though is like, do they just have um a quarterback, right? Fields pretty much led the league for a little bit in running, but passing was huge question mark. Now, of course, they get DJ Moore from the Panthers, and all those draft picks. It could pay out for them, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, you're right. Yeah, Hung, you're absolutely correct when they grabbed up our uh, back office there. I think it could pay out. I'm curious, definitely. And it's going to be hilarious visiting Kate's family around the Thanksgiving time frame because that's when we'll know what's going on. And
Right.
their hatred of the Bears is legend, so
Yeah.
it could be funny. Could be a very
But
Well,
yeah,
you'll
funny
have to
trip.
keep us posted.
I will.
there's one other team that I wanted to bring up. I mean, we could talk the Jets real quick, but there's one other team I wanted to talk about too, just
Yeah.
real quickly. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, I don't even know why we're talking about these other NFC East team or the NFC teams.
NFC
The
teams.
Philadelphia Eagles are coming right back.
They
They're
really
coming
are.
right back.
I thought that very thing as I caught the draft, of course, and was just watching it play out. Yeah, they really are. They're coming right back,
Yeah. Speaking of
no doubt.
DeAndre Swift, and like I seen a meme where it's like the Philadelphia Eagles, and where the G was, it replaced the Eagles G with the Georgia G.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Because basically, yeah, they've gotten just the Georgia's defense, man. Jalen Carter, oh man, Jordan Davis, like just guys they already have, like it's done.
Like,
The
just put a new
The
uniform,
NFC
everybody.
is
We're gonna
done.
keep it all together.
Yeah, the NFC is done. In my opinion, that's my
It's
read the receipts. You could put it down. I think the Eagles are
I,
coming right back in it.
Very early, keep the receipts.
I think the Eagles
Wow.
going
Okay.
right back to the
we'll
Super
just
Bowl.
we'll just go ahead and type that in there. I but also you're not wrong. Like it's right there. So yeah. Let me see.
And y'all saw they brought Mama Kelsey to make that announcement of their pick, right?
That was
For
cool,
the
but
that was yeah,
they kind of ruined it with having Dude Perfect up there. Why were they
dude,
there?
perfect. I know. I was like, that's kind of random.
Come on, guys. Yeah, I mean, I like their videos and everything, but I was like, okay, that's no the
I
little coin flip thing.
I honestly
That seemed
forget they
unprepared.
exist.
Yeah,
They
it felt
did.
unprepared. It felt weird. Like I was like,
Yeah.
okay, they kind of ruined the moment. But
Well, you know who did much better than them while Billy's putting it in keep the receipts is that young man who announced the Jets pick. That 12-year-old
that
kid.
was awesome. Yeah, that kid,
He
that
was
J.E.
amazing.
Yeah, they had a 12-year-old
Amazing.
come on stage and announce the Jets pick, and that boy, like he been doing
He
this
was
for years.
professional. He was prepared
Yeah,
exactly. He'd been prepping for this moment for his lifetime.
I'd have stage fright at 12 years old, man.
Right? I'm like, no way this kid is 12. His presence is greater than that. He did
Yeah,
amazing. Amazing.
Hyping up the crowd and everything.
sure,
Yeah.
had me hype.
Yeah,
I'm
all
like, hell yeah,
right.
kid,
Let's
Like
go.
yeah,
Buster jumping
kid,
around.
yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, no, I mean, good segue though to talking about the Jets. Do you think the trade that they did in
Sorry,
order
Raw.
to get, yeah,
No,
we're making Raw talk about this, was a good move for the Jets or a better move for the Packers?
I think the Jets won ultimately because the Packers don't have any weapons. I think that's always been Rodgers' problem out there. I mean, he's made them into weapons. Like he's done what he can, but like I think he has better weapons in New York. And if you can get 2 two decent years out of him, um, then
Shoot,
it's worth it. I think.
shoot, for me, 1 year, if he's willing to actually mentor Wilson, even, like if he's going in
Sure.
there with that mentality, like he knows he's not the long-term plan, he knows he's going to retire soon. His job is to come in, be the starter for a year, and teach Wilson or teach, whoever's going to be his backup how to play ball. I think that's a big question mark for me, though, is we all know. Rogers' personality isn't exactly a
Exactly.
cuddly kitty.
Exactly.
So will he do that? I hope that's conversation that they had with him in order to make sure he would, because
Sure.
that's what's making me the most nervous, without a doubt. But I think if he is going in there with the intention of mentoring, then the Jets won that by far and away.
Does he
Because
have that in him though?
I mean,
I
I will say this about Rodgers. He has a weird relationship with the media and the fans and stuff, but
Uh-huh.
from what I could gather, his teammates have always been kind of,
but
they seem to like him. So
but for
You
me,
know,
sorry, Hung, it goes
oh
back to when he was under Favre and him and
yeah,
Favre just not getting along at
right.
all.
right.
And yeah, I don't know if you had more on that.
No, I was just gonna say that situation, and then who was the kid? Was it Jordan Love?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh
And how
yeah,
he like
good point.
remember with that draft class? He just got like
He
shunned
threw a
him.
fit. Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
So
That's a great point.
and so that's why I'm thinking like they must have had the conversation. I hope they had the conversation with Rodgers, because if Rodgers is going in there knowing that's his role, versus it being a case where just like Love gets drafted and Rodgers said he was caught by surprise with it, or
Uh,
his, yeah, or his lack of willingness to listen to Favre when he was initially drafted under Favre. Like, come on, dude, you got Brett Favre to mentor you. Like, how are you not soaking up all that knowledge?
Right.
Hopefully he does that. Yeah, he's not a teacher, he's not a mentor type, but if he does anything, and doesn't, just spend the whole time talking about his darkness retreats and what is some of the other stupid stuff he says, that science is propaganda and all that, as long as he focuses on the
yeah.
game with Wilson, I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
Wilson will come out with, a long lock of hair and a darkness retreat of his own, and
Oh my God.
God. Oh my God.
oh man,
You
yeah.
won't be able to keep the moms off him.
Right.
It'll be nuts.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh my God.
it's a storyline I'm excited to follow. I was huge on the Jets this past year, as we all know. I am tempering that because I don't like Aaron Rodgers.
Mm,
I'm curious to see where things go with this, and
Yeah.
if things do teach. One thing I am kind of curious about is that part of the trade where if he plays 65% of what was it, snaps or games, then the Packers get another pick. Are the Jets even slightly tempted to sit there and count his reps and try to
oh
keep
my
it
God.
under 65%? That will be a fun storyline to watch. I doubt it.
Right.
I'm sure they're like, yeah, whatever, fine. You can have that pick. We got Aaron Rodgers out of this deal.
Yeah.
Right.
They'll be just fine. So,
Cool. Well, we got about a little bit more than
yes,
20
20
minutes left. Y'all
minutes.
want to go ahead and dive into them Kansas City
The
Chiefs?
Chiefs.
Yeah. Draft class.
Let's
Absolutely.
let's do it.
So overall, I looking at kind of around the league, kind of what the grades we're getting. The one I'm looking at right now, from Pete Prisco at CBS Sports, who we've had our opinions about him, but he gave our draft grade C minus.
C
So
minus. Wow.
C minus. So I wanted to
It's
get
so
you guys
harsh.
a little bit, yeah, a little bit. I didn't know how y'all wanted to do this. We want to go by each player, just or start just kind of overall. We'll start overall. What are your overall impressions of our draft class?
I'm I'm pretty pleased with our draft class. I was like, let's do, a little bit more
Right.
defensively because I
Yeah.
always feel like we're definitely more offensively minded when it comes to drafting players each year. But I was pleasantly surprised, and I felt like our grade better than a C minus. I would say like a B plus. Pushing that way instead of a
Yeah,
C minus.
Well,
yeah,
Yeah.
and Pro Football Focus gave us a B minus, which I think,
Ah.
I could probably align with that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm happy we went defense. I'm surprised we didn't invest a little more in our offensive line. I thought
Mhm.
we would have grabbed up at least a guard as well. Um, but waiting until the third round, getting that guy out of Oklahoma, it'd be really curious to see how that progresses. But yeah, I mean, what we drafted two offensive players and then the rest in defense.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
and not
Except
just
for,
in
yeah,
defense,
wide
defensive
receiver and
line,
tackle.
pretty much. Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I B minus, maybe even C plus. I would first and foremost temper expectations of me grading this because I haven't watched it. No, you know what? I watched KU versus Oklahoma. That was the only college game I watched this past year. Uh, that's yeah. I don't know any of these guys. Brett Veach knows way more than me. Anyone in
Sure.
any NFL back office knows way more than me.
100%.
Browns drafted better than I ever would have drafted. I mean, it's one of those things. But
Sure.
Or
I,
how about the Dolphins' first round pick was a lot better than anybody? No, just kidding. That
I
y'all. That's
mean,
why there's
oh
only
God.
31 picks.
Well,
I didn't
and
even
I
know
was
who the
saying,
Dolphins
yeah, no.
picked.
When the draft started, I'm like, why are there only 31 picks? Did a team like
Every team had
go
31.
defunct or
Who did
something?
better than us?
Right?
I didn't even think about
Yeah, it's
that.
throwing me off. It's like, oh wait, the Dolphins, yeah, for their little
Yeah,
tempering. Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I am surprised we went for two edge rushers. Now I feel like that room is like half of our defense, or we have so many edge rushers. But
Yeah, it does crush my dreams of Frank the Tank coming back. It does sound like we're
yeah,
moving on for sure.
Yep.
Um, but Felix Anudike Uzoma was our first round draft
Oh,
pick.
look at you go.
Yes, I practiced it. I
Good job.
practiced,
I'm gonna need some
but
lessons. Okay.
absolutely. Or King Felix, which is a dope
King
I
nickname.
Felix.
prefer. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Our number one overall, the hometown kid from Kansas
Yes.
City, went to K State, drafted by Kansas City in Kansas City. That sounds like the
Amazing.
draft day movie. It maybe not draft day the movie,
Right?
but that does sound like the
But along
Hollywood
those
movie
lines.
draft. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yes.
So as far as the pick, I was like, like the cool story. Let me just start by saying
Yeah.
cool story,
Hmm.
and there's a lot of potential there. And our defense is nice. Our defense line's gonna be nice and young, and it's gonna be cool to see what they do. I had hoped that we would go receiver first, at that point. There were some receivers that I thought were still available that we could have grabbed, which
Yeah.
we'll talk about, who we end up getting, which there
Hmm.
is a lot of hype around him as well. But with drafting Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, do y'all have any concerns about it because it's the Big 12? Because I do, just a little
No.
bit. The Big 12,
Of,
you okay, okay.
No,
I
of
the
course,
I'm with you,
Raw.
Raw. Yeah.
Big 12 doesn't scream defense to me. And I know he's the defensive player of the year for the Big 12, and he had what, 8.5 sacks? Um
You know, and
so
he
yeah,
was, yeah, he's one of the better edge rushers in the whole draft class. I know, rated highly. He was definitely the best left on the board. I do
sure.
agree with you. Zay Flowers had been on the board still, we absolutely would have drafted him over Felix.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
I yeah, I don't know. I'm with you. I was like looking through, the ratings on this, and the consistent thing through all of it is anyone from a Big 12 school that was drafted. Just the question is the competition. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, cool. We've seen some successful offensive linemen come out of,
I mean, offense is fine.
yeah,
Yeah, but
out of the Big 12. But when it comes to I mean, there's a reason why the offense is so fine in the Big 12, right? Because there's not
yeah, yeah,
defensive competition.
yeah,
Um, so
yeah. But
it,
a lot of grades for him were about a C for that
mm,
pick, and I'd probably go like C. I think it's a cool emotional story, but as far as like just early predictions, that's what I would give it myself.
yeah,
Obviously, we'll see what actually happens when the season starts, but yeah, I
he's
didn't
not
mean to cut you off.
he's not the most questionable pick I think we made.
Oh,
Um,
okay,
I think of all the picks, he's definitely one I'm excited for.
okay,
It's hard to know when it comes to later
sure.
rounds. Like, the first 10 draft picks are typically pretty easy to predict. They're the stars. And then after that, it starts to get into, okay, now we're filling team needs. We're filling, what we feel is right. Or, oh no, our player got picked. Who's our second up, kind of thing. And I think that's
Sure.
where Felix lands here. I'm sure this was not the intention of Veach to be his draft pick. But he was without a doubt on Veach's list and high up on Veach's
Oh
list.
yeah,
Otherwise, he wouldn't have gone for him.
sure, sure. Yeah. Hung, any thoughts on this?
No, I think that the kid's gonna surprise us. I feel like I know that there's
Okay,
like that talk, Big 12, every other conference out there for defense, but I'm not worried. I think he'll be great for us, and I think
sure.
he'll add a whole lot to that line and surprise everybody. So I'm okay with it.
Cool,
I
cool.
know you guys, but I'm
I'm
okay with
okay with
it.
it too. I want to make it clear. I don't think it was a bad pick. I really don't. I don't
Okay.
think it was a bad pick. I think it
Right.
was okay pick.
But
It
are
was an
you saying
okay
who
pick.
like based on who was available at that time? Who else would you have
Man,
liked
well,
to
if
have
if
seen?
they were if they were going for defense, get Veach is a gambler. I mean, if that's what you were looking for, man, trade up. Get one of those Georgia guys. Like that's
Yeah.
what I probably would have done. But obviously, I don't work in the front office. But I would have.
Right. And value, because I don't know, I feel like they're always so smart on like getting value out of like
Yeah.
when we do trade up or trade back or whatnot.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, it's a cool story, but if that's what you were going for, there seemed like there'd be better guys available at that point.
Yeah.
And then of course, like I said, I wanted to go receiver, but we did get a receiver in the second round who is getting a
Yes.
lot of A+ ratings, and
Hmm.
I've actually seen this guy play live, so I am excited about this. Rashee Rice, from SMU. I did go to a SMU game earlier last year, and
Nice.
yeah, he definitely
Yeah, you
made a
did your
statement.
research. Yeah, good job.
I did. I did. I didn't know. I didn't realize I was scouting a Chiefs player, but there you go.
Yeah, you didn't
You
know.
did it.
Double duty.
Right. But yeah. He seems to fit more the mold. Like I've noticed, in the last couple of years, the big body receiver is not typically what we go for. It seems like we're going for
Hmm.
kind of the
That's not what we
the, the
want.
smaller
Yeah.
speedster that fits our game a
Yeah.
little bit better.
It's not
So
what we
Yeah.
want. We got the big body receiver. We got the
yeah,
best big
Travis
body
Kelce.
receiver in the game. We don't need a
Yeah,
second one. Um,
absolutely.
yeah, no, I'm excited. Like everything I've been seeing right now, I know there was a lot of hype around Flowers and him working out with Mahomes and all that, and so that's where I
Yeah,
thought things would
that's
end
what I
up
wanted.
going.
Yeah,
But this guy seems like the next best op for what we're looking for. I think
sure.
one of the things I saw about him is that he has a lot of ability playing multiple roles when it comes to receiver. He led the conference he was in both deep threats routes and those catches, as well as screen passes. So that's it's great to see that he's not a one-dimensional player. Um, that I'm in no way, shape, or form saying he's a Tyreek Hill, but that smacks of Tyreek Hill, right? Where Tyreek could run the screen and Tyreek
Don't
could
do
run the
this to this
post.
man. Did we not learn our lesson from Nicole?
Yeah.
Tweet at me, tweet at me, tweet at me. Let's
Yeah,
go. All right. But that kind of ability to play those multiple roles in a team is what Tyreek had over all the other speedsters we ever had on our offense. You never saw
sure,
Mecole Hardman doing that. You never saw Watkins doing it. You never saw those guys able to run a post and then the next play run a screen and be as effective both times. And that's what
sure.
it feels like this guy can come in and do for us. We'll probably even see some jet sweeps from him, things like that. And then the other thing that's exciting for me about it is now this is direct competition for Sky Moore. So Sky Moore's going to have to step up. Sky Moore's going to have to play better, and that will really bring out the competition.
Absolutely.
Wait, is he still with us, y'all?
Sky
Sky
Moore?
Moore, absolutely.
Yeah,
Of
right?
course. Yeah, he ain't going nowhere.
Okay.
It was
I
his
know he's
first year.
rookie. I was like, wait, was I dreaming one night when I kind of heard inklings that he was
No,
going,
Hung,
no,
Hung had a
no.
that he was
dream where
leaving?
she
Like, it
was
felt
the
so
GM of the
real.
Chiefs. She pulled
It
Yeah.
Sky
felt
Moore
so
into the
real. Not
office and showed him
kidding.
the door.
I think the cutting of McCole Hardman was a direct sign. It's like that they believe in Sky Moore, and then like you said, we're going to add a little competition to him to
Hmm.
see
Yeah.
who steps up and becomes that Tyreek Hill. Because yeah, that's what
I, I,
that is
I,
what they're going for.
I feel on behalf of the podcast, I do have to emphasize no three of us are ever saying that this dude is anywhere near Tyreek Hill, right? Like, I mean, we're not stoking that fire just yet.
Yeah, we
It's
don't want Tyreek to come at us, you know.
You know, the one player on ESPN who did get that comp, the player comp to Tyreek was Zay Flowers too.
was
So
Flowers, yeah.
so we'll see what he does. But yeah, what number three, Wanya Morris. As it starts to get later, I don't really have a strong opinion either way on the rest of these guys.
So
But
Hmm.
this is the one that was a surprise for me and the question
okay,
for me.
okay,
Looking at Morris, the thing that caught my eye is he didn't play much. You know,
mm,
Hmm.
he, my understanding, he like has a real track record of injuries. Which okay, you're coming to the team with the best training staff, so all right, fingers crossed.
Right.
But
allegedly,
I mean, when you're in your early 20s and your career is already hampered by injuries, there's not much help for you, right? Like, I mean, at that point in time, you're probably a little bit too hurt and too far gone for a true recovery because somebody who's in their early 20s, late teens should be able to bounce back. Or, if they're
Sure.
not bouncing back from an injury, that means that injury was bad enough that it's not getting fixed.
sure,
And so if he has, this track record of injuries, that's a concern. Um,
absolutely,
where he is an advantage. One, Oklahoma clearly puts out good offensive linemen. We know that from our own offensive line.
best in
Um,
the league. Creed
Best
Humphrey, baby.
Creed Humphrey. There we go. And then also, just like his natural physicality. To me, this almost feels like a pick where like if Morris never has this track record of injuries, had started a lot more at Oklahoma, he probably goes earlier. So maybe Veach is seeing this as a steal, getting him in round three. I don't know
Right.
though.
Right.
I it just yeah. Once you start banking on a player's physical literal measurements versus anything else, that's when you're banking on potential and have no idea what's going to happen.
Absolutely, yeah. With the Hong, do you have any thoughts on that one? Oh, do I have you guys?
No, you're good. Yeah, Hung's
Oh, okay.
ignoring you, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
okay,
I'm
okay.
sorry. I was in a spot where I was going from Wi-Fi to not Wi-Fi. Could you repeat that? It cut out.
Oh, well, we were asking like, do you have any like strong opinions on this pick, Wanya Morris?
I have concerns about his injuries, like Billy said, but
Yeah.
I feel excited because that's a thing. Like, right? We have seen value in what Veach has been able to do. So, like, I
Hmm.
trust this pick. And I think that based on where we got him at, that this could be one of those that works out really well for us. So I don't
Absolutely.
know. I'm okay with this. I'm trusting this. I'm
Okay.
trusting this because like what if our training staff has the right people in place to really help him get over and heal completely from his injuries in his collegiate years. So
Right.
I'm okay with this, and I'm this is sitting okay with me right now.
Absolutely. Okay. Cool.
Now, if we come out, his first play and something happens, then
It breaks
obviously
his
my tune
leg,
is going to
right?
change. But
Oh Lord. Oh
right now, I'm
Lord.
trusting and going with it because I feel like Brett Veach really looks in that and weighs those things into the big picture.
Hmm.
And that's what makes him really, really magic at what he does.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, he does his thing. And then yeah, like I said, on the rest of these, I don't have a strong opinion either way. I don't know a whole lot about them, but I do, obviously it's great that we're one thing, you can see with the Chiefs with their draft is we were very methodical in filling needs. So we got
Yes.
Shamari Connor, safety the fourth round. Um, don't know anything about him, but I know we needed safety. So
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, he was a 4-year starter at Virginia Tech, which I think to me is huge. Somebody who can have
awesome.
a healthy 4-year career in college and starting all four
Yes.
years is big. He is on the larger end of safeties, so he has that ability to step up and cover those bigger guys, those the big slot players like Juju, those tight end receiver combos like Kelsey. So hopefully that all happens. The one negative I did see about him is that he frequently misses tackles, so he's going to fit right into the Chiefs defense.
Oh
Oh
no.
man, do
Oh
we have to
man.
shut up and discuss this? Oh
Oh
no.
man, you just oh
Right? Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that. Like we're watching highlight tape and it's like, oh
I
yeah,
just
watch
got
this miss. Oh yeah,
Watch
watch
this.
this
Oh
miss.
yeah, he's going to be great. He's going to be great.
I just got 2018 flashbacks, man.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Ooh.
Oh man.
Uh
What and then
BJ.
yeah, sorry, BJ Thompson. BJ Thompson for me is the one that put the question mark on Felix. Uh for me overall, you know, obviously, Felix has the better college career overall, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how comfortable I feel with the fact that we felt the need to draft two edge rushers
Right.
um, for our team. And like you said, that means Frank Clark's gone. Or if he does come back,
Right.
he's gonna have to get through training camp. So we don't even know if there's any intention for him to stay there. If we're drafting this guy in round 5, to me this definitely smacks of a chance where BJ Thompson ends up being the better edge rusher and puts up better stats than Felix does, because I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that's how it always happens um, when these kind of things come through. So I don't like it when we draft two of the same position. I don't like it when any team does that. I feel like that's screaming a weakness that people aren't understanding of. And so, what's going to happen now?
That's interesting. That's very interesting because then see, because there is that perspective of like, right, we're stacking them for a reason because there has to be some weak link, right?
Hmm.
But at the same time, what if we're stacking him because Spag's like, no, I need two really good edges this year, and we're gonna make them, fight for their positions. We're gonna make them just come out and be their very best because we are going to install something
But
amazing
uh,
with the defense.
but even with Frank Clark gone, we have
Mm-hmm.
like what 4 or 5 edge rushers on the roster before the draft,
Mm-hmm.
and now we added
Yeah.
two more, and then I mean we
Right.
spent a first round pick on Karloftis last year, and then back to back years of first round edge rushing picks.
Right.
It's I don't know. I think this if we draft one, it's fine. We're drafting two. What's that saying about Karloftis? What's that saying about
Mm-hmm.
these other guys that we put in there? And
Right.
then we're still letting. Okay, so we're now continuing to bank on our inside linebackers staying healthy. We're continuing to bank on any outside linebackers we play staying healthy, which I know Edge tends to play an outside linebacker kind of role, which is fine.
Yeah.
But like we saw how bad our team did once we lost one of our two inside linebackers because we didn't have somebody to step up into that role. I think we have one of the best inside linebacker duos in the league. We can't bank on
Agreed.
them
Absolutely.
being able to play every
100%.
snap for the rest of this coming year, and we don't have an
Yeah.
answer for that. And instead, we're just drafting more edge guys. Edge guys can't stop runs. Edge guys can't, always cover passes whenever there's like a delayed out route or something like that.
Hmm.
So it's really just a question mark for me because like, what does this say then about Karloftis? What does this say about
Right.
the other edge rushers we have in there? Because we already have a pretty full room. I don't know.
Totally.
Yeah, that's where my concern comes in. Plus, he's coming from Stephen F. Austin, so what the hell competition did he ever play against, too?
I was thinking about that too. I'm not gonna lie to you. Not gonna lie. Which I mean, we
Uh,
can. I'm not gonna put too much emphasis on these small schools because we've seen guys come from small schools and ball. So,
and do
but
really
still,
well.
Yeah.
but just initial impressions like Stephen F. Austin, really?
That's college.
Right.
So I also just. Oh, wait.
Hey,
Texas is still
Ladarius
Big
Sneed
12,
came
right?
from Law Tech. Okay, so I mean that's a small
Hey,
program.
Right. That's true. That's true. That's
You
true.
I,
know.
I did just realize we drafted 3 Big 12 players, too, which
Yes, that's what we did. A lot
okay.
of Big
Yeah.
12. A lot of Big 12. So yeah,
But
let's talk. I know you got to get going soon.
Getting
Sorry,
going
how
shortly,
were
yeah.
you saying?
no, you're good. You're good.
Keandre Colborn from Texas.
Hmm.
Yep, Deeds defensive tackle.
All right,
Big
So
well,
dude. I'm
he is a big
excited to see
man.
what he does.
I loved his message to the kingdom where he had his newborn in his
absolutely.
hands. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was great.
Yes,
I
that was
think
so
I
precious.
like seeing his personality and everything. This dude's a straight Kalen Saunders replacement, and I'm okay with that.
Down to his number,
I'm going to miss
number 99.
Saunders. I love Saunders. But this guy seems to be the younger version. And so let's hope that
Yeah,
stays true.
Yeah.
absolutely. Cool. But yeah, and then you know me, I no, 99 was my number too, so I always love a 99 coming
Hey,
through the building.
there
So
it is.
yeah,
Love
so
it.
And then our last one, Nick Jones from Ball State, cornerback.
Woo woo.
let's go. I have no opinion.
Yep. All right,
I
cool.
know.
Round
Talk
six
about
draft
another
pick.
smaller
Or sorry,
program
round
again.
seven.
Hey, we seen round 7 players, ball out here. So
Hey, absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
Again,
yeah, you never know.
I'm looking at his stats now. PFF gave him a 68. That's probably round seven, expectation there.
Right.
sure.
Um, yeah, all right, that's about it. That's all I can see.
Yeah. Well, same deal.
Perfect.
It addresses a need. It
It
addresses a
does.
need. So yeah, add some depth to the cornerback position. So yeah, that's hopefully he's not getting dusted like the other guy was doing, like you said. So
I mean, hey, I'm sure all those cornerbacks that we have are happy to have somebody younger than them in the room in that position because
Hmm.
what was that game that we started 4 rookies at
Oh
at
my God.
like
it was a
cornerback slash
championship.
safety. Hey,
It was the AFC
yeah,
championship
and we won that game. This guy's going up against some tough competition now, so it'll be fun to
for
see.
sure. Yeah, it'll be nice. Nice young room though.
Yep,
Defense is rebuilt. A lot of weapons for Spags to play around
to
with.
play
So
around with. Yes,
yeah,
sir. All right. And I think that was the end of everything I had. So, and yeah, I am going to have to hop here in a minute, go see the KC
sure.
Current, hopefully not
Oh yeah,
depress
Love
me
it.
like, the other two soccer teams did this weekend. But any other parting thoughts?
no, I'm excited. I
I'm
mean,
excited to jump into our draft class, and then of course, undrafted, um, the undrafted guys too who joined the Chiefs. So I'm just
yeah,
excited to jump into them once we get that full list there as we start to go into what'll be training camp soon. So the rookie training mini camp and then into training camp, and it'll be here before we know it.
Yeah. Um,
absolutely.
with the draft close, I mean, there's not usually too many big trades or blockbuster trades at the very least that'll happen.
Hmm.
So, we kind of all know what our rosters are going to be looking like, and training camp will be just what about I always forget how far St. Joe is. It's about an hour, 45 minutes, something
Yeah,
like
about
that from
an
here.
hour
So
north.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be kicking up soon, and
Hmm.
Yeah,
go from there.
and again, really proud of Kansas City the way they put on this entire event. It looked like
Absolutely.
everything went really well. Everyone had a lot of fun. It
And
was really
y'all,
nice
I,
to see.
I want to look at the final P&L statement because that I don't even know how much money was spent, but I'm curious. Like
Oh,
that
me
was
too.
a huge ordeal. So
Oh
Me
yeah,
too.
yeah, good times. All right. What socials? We doing that?
yeah, Billy, you
Hung?
go
No, you
first.
go first.
Oh,
Yeah. You went last on
fine,
positive
fair enough.
yards. You go
I was like,
first on
I was
this.
last. I was late coming on. I don't deserve to go
That is the new
first.
rule. Yeah,
That's
she has to go
yeah.
first on the social.
Oh, all right, y'all. Join me pretty much on every platform there is by my first and last name, Hong Forrest, HUONG FORREST. Come along for the inspiration, stay for the light, the passion, the mom life, and of course, Chiefs football.
Absolutely. I can go next.
All right.
The Almighty Ra, Twitter, Instagram. Follow our Twitter page, SOT Kingdom KC. Uh, and catch us on Discord and YouTube, State of the Kingdom.
Yeah, those links are on our Twitter page, so please feel free to join in. We love the conversations on Discord, that's for sure.
Yes.
All right, and then yeah, I'm on Twitter. I'm boring. I'm only on Twitter. I always talk about streaming too, but I haven't streamed in forever, so it's
Hey,
just
we should talk because whenever we have more time, I'm trying to get back into that too.
yeah,
There's some games
yeah.
that just dropped that I think it'd be fun to
Oh
kind
hell
of
yeah.
play through.
Yeah,
So
and we still got to get our Warzone on with Hung, have her carry us to a couple
Right?
of victory royales too. So
yeah,
no, we'll make all that happen. But yeah, feel free to follow me on Twitter at Chef Double CHEFDOOBLES. And that's it. That's me.
absolutely.
That's it.
That's
That's
it.
it.
All right, y'all.
Okay.
There's no
Until next time.
inspiration. There's no mom life. There's no nothing. None of that. I mean, my Twitter is boring compared to Hung.
Well, mine is pretty much Lakers Twitter right now, so don't
Lakers.
go if you're not a Lakers fan. So
Oh
anyway,
Quite
man.
proud, y'all.
All
All
right.
right.
Till next time.
Catch y'all
See you.
next time. Have a great day, y'all.
go Chiefs.
Go
Go
Chiefs.